The 5 Laws of Gold. Wealth Lessons from the Richest Man in Babylon. Have you ever wondered if there's a timeless formula for building wealth? What if ancient wisdom could unlock the secrets to financial stability and success? In 1926, George S. Clason published The Richest Man in Babylon, a book of parables offering invaluable lessons about money and wealth. These lessons, told through the experiences of the richest man in Babylon, Arkad, have become pillars of financial wisdom that are still relevant today. In this video, we'll break down the 5 laws of gold, rules that, when followed, can help you grow your wealth and secure your financial future. Let's dive in. The story of Arkad and his friends. The story begins with Bansir, a skilled chariot builder, and Kabi, a talented musician. Despite being the best at their crafts, they found themselves struggling financially. Frustrated by their lack of wealth, they sought the wisdom of their childhood friend, Arkad, the richest man in Babylon. Arkad, unlike his friends, had amassed great fortunes. He spent liberally, gave generously to charity, and yet his wealth kept growing. How did he achieve this? Arkad shared his story, revealing that he, too, was once poor. He worked as a scribe, copying clay inscriptions for a rich man. One day he made a deal to learn the secrets of wealth in exchange for his labor. The rich man taught him a simple yet powerful principle. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. This lesson became the foundation of Arkad's wealth and is the premise of the 5 laws of gold. Pay yourself first. Arkad's first and most important lesson is to set aside at least 10% of your earnings for yourself. The principle. Gold comes gladly to any man who puts aside not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. The modern lesson. Pay yourself first before spending on bills, rent, or entertainment. Why this works? Many people claim they don't have enough money to save. However, when you carefully analyze your expenses, you'll often find unnecessary expenditures like frequent dining out or subscription services that you don't use. Actionable tip. The moment you receive your paycheck, transfer 10% to a savings or investment account. Over time, this habit will grow your wealth and provide a safety net for emergencies like medical bills, car repairs, or job loss. Start small if needed. Saving even 5% is better than nothing, and gradually work your way up to 10% or more. Consistency matters more than perfection when building this habit. Make your money work for you. The second law emphasizes the importance of investing your savings wisely. The principle. Gold labors diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment. The modern lesson. Once you've saved enough, don't let your money sit idle. Invest it in ways that generate passive income. How to do this? Explore investment options like real estate. Buy rental properties for steady income. Stocks and bonds. Invest in diversified portfolios for long-term growth. Businesses. Fund ventures that offer solid returns. Key advice. Always research before making investments. Treat your money as little soldiers. Send them out to work and bring back more wealth. Even small investments, when consistently nurtured, can grow into significant assets over time. Seek wisdom before investing. Before making any financial decisions, seek advice from experts. The principle. Gold clings to the protection of the owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. The modern lesson. Don't rely on gut feelings or uninformed opinions when investing your hard-earned money. Why this matters. Many people lose money because they invest based on tips from friends, co-workers, or even social media influencers. Without proper research or guidance, these investments often turn out to be scams or poor choices. Actionable tip. Consult financial advisors or seasoned investors before making significant financial moves. Just as you wouldn't trust an amateur to perform surgery, don't trust unqualified sources with your finances. Additionally, educate yourself by reading books, attending workshops, or taking courses on investment strategies. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to make sound financial decisions. Avoid investments you don't understand. Arcad warns against investing in unfamiliar ventures or areas where you lack expertise. The principle: gold slips away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar. The modern lesson: if you don't understand how an investment works, don't put your money into it. Example: John, a fictional example, followed the first law of gold for a year and saved $10,000. However, he hastily invested in stocks and real estate based on TV ads and hearsay. Within months, he lost most of his money because he didn't understand these investments. The takeaway: instead of blindly investing, John should have sought guidance from experts or invested in areas where he had knowledge. Pro tip: always do your due diligence. If an investment opportunity seems too good to be true, it probably is. Never rush into a deal without fully understanding the risks and potential rewards. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes. The fifth law cautions against chasing unrealistic returns or trusting schemers and gamblers. The principle: gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers. The modern lesson: building wealth takes time and effort. Avoid shortcuts. Example: after losing his savings, John decided to gamble in Las Vegas to recover his losses quickly. As expected, he ended up losing even more money. This highlights the dangers of desperation and poor financial decisions. Key advice: stay disciplined and patient. Real wealth is built through consistent saving, wise investing, and avoiding unnecessary risks. Instead of looking for quick fixes, focus on sustainable strategies that build lasting wealth. Timeless lessons from Babylon. The 5 laws of gold offer a blueprint for financial stability. Pay yourself first. Save at least 10% of your income. Make your money work for you. Invest in opportunities that generate passive income. Seek wisdom before investing. Consult experts and avoid uninformed decisions. Avoid unfamiliar ventures. Stick to investments you understand. Steer clear of quick schemes. Be patient and disciplined. These lessons have stood the test of time, helping millions build wealth. Why these lessons matter today. In our fast-paced, consumer-driven world, it's easy to fall into financial traps like overspending or chasing risky investments. The lessons from the richest man in Babylon remind us to prioritize long-term growth and stability over instant gratification. Practical steps to get started. Set up automatic savings. Use apps or bank features to transfer 10% of your paycheck to a separate account. Educate yourself. Read books, take courses, or follow trusted financial advisors to improve your understanding of money management. Network with experts. Surround yourself with people who have achieved financial success and learn from their experiences. Additionally, practice patience and consistency. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. By implementing these principles, you can create a more secure financial future for yourself and your family. Conclusion: a path to wealth. The parables in The Richest Man in Babylon may be ancient, but their wisdom is timeless. By following the 5 laws of gold, you can build a solid foundation for financial freedom and success. Call to action. Which of these laws will you start practicing today? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more wealth-building tips and insights.
Everybody knows Amazon is the biggest online retailing company in the world. The company's become a household name, selling everything from books to groceries and kitchen equipment to clothing accessories. As of 2021, Amazon had hit the $1 trillion market cap with an annual revenue of $61.9 billion and has over 97,000 employees. In all, you can say that Amazon has done quite well for itself in its 30 years of existence. However, as much as we would love to applaud Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and its former CEO, for building this gigantic success through hard work, resilience, and innovation, serious allegations have been levied against Amazon in recent times. Jeff Bezos says that Amazon is Earth's best employer and Earth's safest place to work. But is that true? In this video, we'll show you how Amazon started and some disturbing truths about this company that helped its growth. In 1994, Jeff Bezos, who had been working on Wall Street, decided to quit his job. The reason? Jeff had discovered that an internet revolution was taking place, and he felt there was an opportunity right there. So he made a list of the top 20 products that he could potentially sell on the internet. After much deliberation, Jeff settled on books because of their low cost and universal demand. He then moved to Washington and founded Amazon, an online bookstore that operated from a garage at his residence in Bellevue. Interestingly, the company wasn't always Amazon. Jeff initially dubbed the business Cadabra, as in abracadabra, which is super weird. But after someone mistakenly called it Cadaver, Jeff decided to change the name to Amazon, after the enormous river in South America. Jeff and a few employees started developing the software for their site, and in July 1995, Amazon.com went live to the general public. Its first ever order, placed in April 1995, a few months before the website was launched, was for a science book titled Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies. It was a phenomenal time for the company. When Amazon went live, the company billed itself as Earth's biggest bookstore, even though sales were solely based on word of mouth. But maybe it was a prophecy, because within 30 days of launch, Amazon had started shipping across the US as well as 45 other countries. In the same year, Jeff raised an $8 million round of funding from Kleiner Perkins, and by the end of 1996, Amazon had racked up $15.7 million in revenues. In 1997, Amazon went public with $18 per share, raising $54 million. That same year, Jeff personally delivered Amazon's 1 millionth order to a customer in Japan who had ordered a Windows NT manual and a Princess Diana biography. Phenomenal growth. Phenomenal growth. The company was booming, but it wasn't enough for Jeff. So in 1998, Amazon expanded beyond books and started selling music CDs. And the following year, it added more product categories, including toys, electronics, and tools. By December 1999, Amazon had shipped 20 million products to 150 countries around the world. And that same month, Jeff was dubbed Person of the Year by Times Magazine. The following year, Amazon introduced a service that allows sellers and merchants outside the company to sell their products alongside Amazon's products. It was a brilliant idea that boosted the popularity and, of course, the profits of Amazon. While all this was going on, Amazon continued to expand its range of products, raking in more profits, which it didn't post until 2003. In 2007, Amazon debuted its Kindle e-reader, and 4 years later, it announced that it was selling more books than print books. Between 2006 and 2013, Amazon rolled out a variety of services, including cloud computing and video-on-demand services, a studio that develops movies and TV series known as Amazon Prime, an online marketplace for fine arts, and its tablet computer called Kindle Fire. In addition to its wide range of services, Amazon has also acquired a number of companies, including Zappos and Whole Foods. In 2015, Amazon beat Walmart to become the most valuable retailer in the US, and by
Amazon is now past Walmart as the biggest retailer in the United States.
And by 2018, the company hit the $1 trillion market cap, making it the second US company after Apple Incorporated to achieve this milestone. One thing can be observed about Amazon is that the country grew so fast, but that shouldn't surprise you because that was the motto of its founder, Jeff Bezos, who later stepped down as CEO of Amazon in 2021. But the question is, at what cost? The brave new paradigm. There is an old saying that goes like this: the higher the monkey climbs, the more you see of its ugly side, and Amazon has certainly climbed incredibly fast, becoming the largest online retailer in the world. But only a few people have looked closely at this gigantic retailer, and there's no doubt that Jeff Bezos' idea of using electronic streamlining and systems management to sell everything from books to bicycles, barbecues to Barbies at a cheap, very cheap price, and at the same time undercutting competitors like Walmart is brilliant. But what is the source of this efficiency and cheap price admired and accepted by all? Did Amazon achieve this by being a virtual store, saving the costs of building, staffing, and maintaining brick-and-mortar outlets? Or is Amazon doing it the old-fashioned way, which means squeezing the life out of its workers and suppliers, crushing its competitors with monopolistic muscle, and manipulating national and state laws? It would have been nice to say it's the former, but the truth is it's the latter, and the brain behind it is none other than Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Inside the Beast. Jeff was once called Person of the Year, but now that award has changed to the World's Worst Boss, a title given to him by the International Trade Union Confederation. He's been described by higher-ups in Amazon as a cold, controlling, and often vengeful boss with little empathy for the people who work for him. Even as far back as the 1980s, when Jeff worked on Wall Street, he was perceived as lacking the human touch, and it's this personality that has contributed to the growth of Amazon. To fully understand, we must look beyond Amazon's comfortable headquarters and observe what goes on in its warehouses, or fulfillment centers as they're called, where more than 97,000 employees work. There's only one word for working in these warehouses: hellish. Take the job of a picker, for example. In each warehouse, there are hundreds of them scrambling through a maze of shelves to pick products. The work is physically demanding because pickers are expected to speed walk an average of 12 miles every day to pick products and place them on the right track of the 7 miles of conveyor belts running through the facility. They do this with the help of a handheld computer. But the problem is the computer doesn't just tell them where to go, but also gives an allotted time it would take to get the product to its rightful place. So if the computer feels it would take you 5 minutes to get the product to its rightful position, you better speed walk as fast as you can, or even jog so you can get there within that time. Because if you don't, that's a big problem. You see, every picker has a target for each day, and Amazon has a point system that rates everybody's performance. If you score a few demerits, you get cancelled, and if you score more, you lose your job. Everything is also timed, monitored, and scored from beginning to end. And get this, lunch is just 29 minutes and 59 seconds, a fact workers are constantly reminded of again and again by the ever-present time monitors. And if they're not back to working 1 second after the allotted time for lunch breaks, they earn penalty points. Imagine working in this kind of environment for $10 to $12 an hour, an amount most of the workers don't even make because Amazon's warehouse employees are contingent hires, meaning they're temporary, seasonal, part-time laborers subject to the employer's whim. When sales are down, workers are let go, and when sales perk up, the managers demand you do a 12-hour shift with no notice. You must do it or be fired. And the big one is technically these workers don't work directly for Amazon. They're hired by temp agencies with Orwellian names like Amalgamated Giant Shipping that do Amazon's dirty work. What this means is that it gives Amazon plausible deniability about workers' treatment. It also means workers have no labor rights because technically they are independent contractors. So no healthcare, no vacation time, no scheduled raises, no promotion track, and of course no union. The question is, why are these workers putting up with this kind of treatment and work environment? It's simple. They need to take care of rent, food, and clothing. Jeff Bezos understands that millions of people are stuck in jobless depression with no way out, and so they have no choice but to take any job, even one as hellish as Amazon's. The truth is, Amazon has capitalized on this mass desperation, thriving on it to become the online giant it is today. The truth is, this truth is a big part of the magic behind its super cheap prices and super efficient delivery system. So, if you somehow remove this factor, Amazon would probably not be the giant it is today. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. The Earth is dying because humans are killing it, and the only way to save humanity, according to the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, is for us to become a multi-planetary species. Meaning it's time for us to go to Mars. To achieve this, Elon has dedicated a lot of his personal resources to ensuring that by 2029, 1 million people will be living comfortably in a self-sustaining city. Magnificent and enthralling, right? However, while the idea of leaving Earth and moving to a self-sustaining city on Mars is exciting, there are a lot of things that Musk is hiding from the world. So, in this video, we'll reveal to you some things you probably didn't know about going to Mars and why it's a pretty bad idea. So, Elon Musk says that going to Mars is paramount to the future of life itself because there's always some chance that something could go wrong on Earth. And to do this, he proposes, for a start, that 1 million people should be sent to Mars along with 100 million metric tons of supplies and materials, which would help them build this self-sustaining city on the red planet. To achieve this great crossing, all it's going to take is a fleet of 1,000 Starship rockets flying back and forth from Earth to Mars every 2 years, because the launch window for Mars only opens every 2 years. This sounds great and all, but think about the fact that the current SpaceX Starship can only carry about 100 people at one time. And if all the 1,000 space rockets happen to launch at the same time, then only 100,000 people will be able to get to Mars with a limited number of supplies every 2 years. Imagine how many years it'll take to carry 1 million people and 100 million metric tons of materials to build this so-called self-sustaining city. But that's not even a disadvantage because technology is advancing rapidly, so it's possible that before 2029 Elon would have created something that could carry more people, maybe even 1 million people at once. But why Mars? Why is it that whenever there's talk about colonizing another planet, it's always Mars and not our closest neighbor the Moon or even Venus or Saturn? We've got about 9 planets to choose from. Well, the simple fact is that we don't have another option. The Moon is quite close to us, but we certainly can't live there, and let's not even talk about the other planets, which are totally not habitable. And Mars is no different. However, the difference is that it has the potential for human survival, at least according to Elon, who believes that one day we can make Mars just like Earth. But is that even possible? Well, first things first, what makes Earth perfect for humans? The answer to that is everything. From the atmosphere to gravity, climate, and natural resources, all was made ready for humans to survive and grow. Think about how our skin blocks the right wavelengths, how our lungs tolerate the right gases, or even how our bones handle the right forces. And the fact is that anything more than a slight deviation from all these conditions will be catastrophic, which leads us to the question: what do we have to work with on Mars? First, let's look at the temperature. If you're going on a trip to Mars, you'd do well to grab a lot of winter clothes, especially very thick ones, because most of the time the planet is very cold, and I mean really cold. We're talking about a place that's almost always below 0 degrees, but it's not all that bad because sometimes the temperature can get up to 20 degrees Celsius, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean when the weather is 20 degrees you can just hop out of your brain and go for a walk, because the atmosphere is pretty much non-existent. What you will find, however, is lots and lots of carbon dioxide with 0 oxygen, meaning you can't breathe. And if you can't breathe, how will you survive? The only option then will be for humans to live inside a dome where there's oxygen. And if you want to go outside, you've got to put on your spacesuit. Isn't that like a prison? Honestly, Mars doesn't give us much to work with, and its atmosphere and temperature are more than enough to discard the idea of going to Mars. But not surprisingly, there's more. Unlike the Earth, which has an atmosphere that blocks all the bad radiation coming from the cosmos, Mars doesn't have anything that will protect its surface from cosmic radiation. Its atmosphere is much thinner, so there's a high risk of people dying from radiation diseases such as cancer. Sadly, cancer is not the only disease you risk getting if you happen to be a part of the 1 million people who will be traveling to Mars by 2029. The gravity on Mars is much lighter than Earth's, approximately about 0.375 that of Earth, which means a 180-pound person on Earth would weigh a scant 68 pounds on Mars. This may seem nice for people with lots of weight, but in the long term, the low gravity is very likely to wreak havoc on human health and even cause damage to human fertility, which, as you know, will endanger humanity. I mean, if people can't reproduce, how would humans repopulate Mars? Now that's scary. But while you're still thinking about that, you should know that just like Mother Earth can unleash hurricanes and tornadoes, Mother Mars periodically unleashes epic dust storms, which can sometimes cover as much as 1/4 of the planet. And worse is that those storms are so strong they can destroy equipment and materials. And what's the guarantee that pretty strong epic dust won't destroy the dome? And let's not forget that if you happen to breathe in the dust, you may just have some kind of respiratory disease. In essence, Mars is not safe, and like Elon Musk says, any little mistake can cost the life of a person. But let's say somehow the dome is strong enough to withstand radiation, epic dust storms, and the cold, meaning that one of the basic needs of man, which is shelter, has been provided for. But what about food? Can crops grow on Mars? The answer is no. As a result of Mars's extremely cold, thin air and sterilizing radiation, it would quickly kill any crops planted in the soil. So at first, food and water will have to be shipped from Earth to Mars every 2 years until the scientists on Mars figure out how to grow plants in a greenhouse on the dome. If you think food is quite expensive now, just wait until potato salad or bread has to be boosted out of Earth's gravity well, flown across the void, then gently deposited outside a Martian airlock. Food becomes very expensive and probably rationed until plants start growing in the greenhouse, as there aren't really lots of options when it comes to food on Mars. If you're a vegetarian, you'll probably be happy on Mars because the food will consist mostly of potatoes and greens. But if you eat meat, I'm sorry to say you'll have to replace meat with insects. Yes, get ready to eat some insect goulash with some potatoes on the side, but it shouldn't be all that bad, right? And there's even some good news. An Israeli company is currently trying to grow meat from cells, so hopefully before the 1 millionth crossing to Mars begins, their experiment will be successful and people will be able to eat meat on Mars. So as you can see, there are a lot of challenges associated with traveling to and living on Mars, and to a large extent, there's a high chance that humans may not survive it if anything goes wrong. I know the argument for colonizing Mars is so that we can prolong the survivability of humanity just in case something happens, such as the ozone layer shattering to pieces and the fiery sun melting Earth and everything in it. But there's also a possibility that if that does happen, Mars will melt as well. And even if Mars happens to survive, what's the guarantee that humans won't begin to destroy planet Mars through their activities the same way it's currently happening on Earth? Instead of thinking of colonizing Mars for the future of humanity, why don't we focus on making Earth a better place for humanity to survive for as long as possible? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Cheers, until next time.